Good morning, my healing friends, my friends of change, my friends of growing consciousness, my friends of the earth. You know, I think it's useful to look on the bright side of life, because I think it kind of directs us into that side of life. It draws us in, draws in the brightness, and so we tend to see the brightness. I think the lyric of a song was "Always look on the bright side of life." I think that was possibly a song from the life of Brian with Monty Python. So I have a number of friends named Brian, and my friends named Brian are quite the characters. Yeah. And so it was like, a group of people on a cross that were all being kind of hung on a cross together. And my memory isn't great on it, but my memory of it is that one of them just broke out singing, "Always look on the bright side of life," while they're hanging on the cross. And that kind of thing would kind of remain in my consciousness over time. I mean, obviously, because it was probably many years ago. And even though I think that it's useful to look on the bright side of life, I think it's also to really acknowledge sometimes the darkness that just may appear in the world to us. The world may appear as dark. Events going on may appear to us as dark. And I think that acknowledging those, not like, "Oh, where's the light? Where's the light? Where's the light?" But like our own personal observation of the world, and really learn to unfold the world, learn to love the world in spite of its appearances. The last couple months have been really challenging. I mean, it's interesting because in the Mayan calendar, I think month 2 was the month of challenge. So if it starts in July and it goes 28 days, so it starts on July 26th, so 28 days, July, August, um, probably, lose a couple days. But anyway, probably towards the end of August started month 2 that went towards the end of September. And month 2, I think it was the month of challenge, lunar month of challenge. And month 3 is the lunar month of form. And it currently makes me wish that I'd remembered to plug in the headphones earlier, so that this sound might have been better. And you can tell me if the sound gets better because I plugged in the headphones, or if it just has a lot of rattling noises. But I wish somewhat that I had brought down my Mayan calendar so I could be specific on the month we're about to enter into. The month, so the third month is the month of form, the lunar month of form, and it ends today. on this 17th day of October, 2024. And so, although we're entering the fourth month of the Mayan calendar, this will continue to be, I think, the 10th month. October is the 10th month. It got bumped off. It was the 8th month. That's why OCT, relating to 8. But, Pope Greg, he had them insert January and February as the start. Because he was the Pope and he had a lot of power, and he could just say, okay, we're changing the calendar. People went, okay, you're the Pope. You're infallible, you can't fail. You can't make a mistake. You're the Pope. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the history doesn't show that, but you know, but it's a concept, and some people have it. Some people think it's might even be true for them, or they believe it. But this is the last day of the third month of the Mayan calendar, and it's a day of the white wind. And I thought it was interesting that I woke up this morning, and I feel like I'm getting prepared for Monday. And I'll tell you a bit about Monday. I already have, but I'll tell you again. I feel like I'm getting prepared for Monday. So we have, today is Thursday, so we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Friday is the beginning of the new month, the Mayan calendar, but it'll still be October in this reality. And beginning Monday, which will be October 21st, we're going to have one of the auspicious days of Paco Votan. Now, Paco Votan was the sage king of the Mayan people in the Yucatec region, which I think is now the Yucatan. And from 603 to 683, he was also their prophet, and he was also the engineer of time. So he had a lot of hats he wore in that time period. Sage, king, sage, king, engineer of time, prophet. He had his hands full for those 80 years he was on earth. And still, most of them just got wiped out. Yeah, because it's come and go. You're here one day, gone the next. And so what are you doing with your time in this moment? So it's been a couple months wrought or full of a lot of emotional release. And I did I did the 8-day training that lasted for 10 days because there was videos that you could continue to watch for a couple extra days. I did the 8-day training with Thomas Hubel on collective healing. So they had a conference that was very life-changing. And it keeps feeling like, although I've been kind of seen to be an emotional person, as a child, I was referred to as a crybaby. And, I'm just trying to rearrange this so I like it better, but I wanted to be between those two things, yeah. So my dad referred to me as a crybaby. And he was oftentimes saying, "What's he crying about now?" And I was, I was pretty I learned at a certain point to lock it in. And then I learned at another point to unlock it, let it back out again, because it wasn't serving me well holding these things inside. And I feel like it's really useful to get training on how to have the experience of emotions without feeling like we're forced into action from the emotion. So basically, you may have two people, and one person says X and Y and Z, and the other person goes, "What the hell? What the hell? What do you mean X, Y, and Z?" And the person goes, "Well, what's your problem? What's your problem? It's your problem. It's your problem. It's your problem. It's your problem." And you're like, "Whoa, I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. I've said something that I felt was innocuous. Like, um, if you're going to do laundry, stay around the house because the washing machine can go haywire. And you don't want to start a load of laundry and leave and not follow up with it because it hasn't happened. And I'm holding space that it doesn't happen. But that washing machine can start dancing around, and it can be found oftentimes at the end of its limit, and its limited by the two hoses that go into the wall that supply hot and cold water to the machine. And should those pop off, then we're going to come home to another flood. You live in a house, there's a chance of there being water in your house at some point for various reasons. In Michigan, somebody dropped one of their socks. They were doing laundry, dropped one of their socks, which plugged up the drain. The washing machine drained into this sink. And because it had a sock in it, it didn't drain, and it just went over and it overflowed. You wouldn't have thought that there would be really that much, but there's a lot of water that came out. And another time, there was a crawl space, basement area, where a pipe burst and just basically water would just keep running, it just filled up the crawl space where there was a number of things stored. Another time, the pipe separated on the bathtub drain. And so the bathtub drained through the floor of the upstairs bathroom into the area down below, which was carpeted, which required removal of said carpet and replaced with tile, which was, it's really nice. But during the process of I was doing the tiling and finding out the floor wasn't quite level, there was periods of mild frustration and grinding. Last day of the third month, tomorrow is the first day of the fourth month. Monday is the start of 10 days of galactic activation portals. So energy is just opening up for change. When there's 1, 2, 3 in a row, I found it very challenging and fairly intense. They happen in a certain way every year. There's a total of 52 of these galactic portal opening days. But generally, you might get every once in a while, maybe 3 in a week. But usually you get 1 or 2 a month. It just varies. But 10 in a row, beginning Monday. on one of the auspicious days that was recorded by Pakal Votan, the prophet of the Mayan people. We're coming into a big time. We're coming into a big time, and it's going to go from the 21st of October to the 30th of October, I think is the last day, but 10 days of just energies. And like we're in the last less than 6 months of the 7-year cycle of spiritual cleansing, which followed the 7-year cycle of emotional cleansing, which followed the 7-year cycle of mental cleansing, which followed the 7-year cycle of physical cleansing that was initiated on March 23rd, 1997. And it was a 28-year cycle. And it completes in 5.5 months. 5 months and 7 days. And then it's done. But personally, I found it a challenge. And I've met the challenge. So I'm alive, and I feel like I can meet the challenge of the next 5 months and 1 week. And I can meet the challenge of today. But I'm finding it very useful to tap into the lifetimes, other lifetimes. One, when I was one of the instructors in an Egyptian mystery school. Another lifetime when I was when I worked with Atlantean healing crystals. Many, many lifetimes when I was a Buddhist monk. Numerous lifetimes where I was Native American in a Native American body with a group of people. Southwestern lifetimes. One lifetime I was a mail carrier, Pony Express. I rode a horse from one town to another with a bag of mail, and then picked up mail going the other direction and rode it back to the town. And I really, really loved that job. But a lot of things are coming back to me now. The whole, I've been doing, I can remember doing sound healing work when I was 7. So what I can remember just sitting when I was 7 and making sounds to make different bones in my head vibrate. And I can remember my parents walking into the room and then walking back out, closing the door, because they're like, whoa, he's possessed. They were Catholic, so we need to get the exorcist. And I'm just like, because we bring it in with us. We bring in these memories. They may be unconscious, they may be subconscious, they may be below the surface of our consciousness, they may remain below the surface of our consciousness. Unless we're a person that wants to remember and is here, which I'd say is all of us that are here, want to know what it is we need to resolve so we can be done with it and move on to the next level. So the next level's 5 months and 1 week away. The end of that cycle is March 23rd, 24th, right in that area of 2025. And the initiation of the new cycle is March 25th, 2025. And as challenging as these especially these last 4.5 years have seemed to me. I feel like we've done a great job. Yeah, we might have gotten into you're wrong, you're wrong. Back, don't get it back. Yeah, there was some of that going on, and people were triggered after the announcement of the viral invasion. If my memory serves me correct, I think the next 6 to 8 healing sessions I did, people went back to masses of people dying from something. I mean, it triggered that off. So there set some healing in motion. And today in the mind calendar is a white wind. And I started my day with breath work and then yoga with sound. So I did my sound work with Master Gu, the Qigong work, while doing yoga. It was very ancient and very kind of the whole movements. There was this whole kind of Buddhist monk memory thing that was coming up where I was just like, and doing the sounds. And here I am studying with Master Gu, who is from China and kind of hasn't said anything about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was Buddhist. But I don't know enough about any of those paths. But for many years, that was my path. Many lifetimes, that was my path. And today is a day of the white wind, and the day is a day in which we are more aware of spirit and its effect on matter, and breath and its effect on memory, and how the more we breathe into the body, the more things there might be to show up that need resolution, and then we resolve them by releasing them and integrating the information. Overwhelming events were just events that were too much for us at the time, and we just suppressed it and didn't integrate it. So now all these emotions are coming back to the surface. Grief, anger, and fear are the big three. I guess that'd be the big six. So big three. But there's plenty of other things going on. Rage, just extreme levels of the anger. And desolation, the extreme levels of the grief and loss. Many, many things coming to the surface from the past. So they're coming to the surface for us to release them. Let that energy just go back to just being energy, instead of being energy that holds a memory. And then integrate the new self that shows up with that expansion of energy. A new self is there, and then you integrate that energy. And that's pretty much it. And you'll have a great opportunity to do this beginning Monday, the 21st, because 10 days straight, there'll be activation portals. Activation, galactic activation portals. Portal is an opening to the galactic field, the one, the oneness. Portal opening to that galactic field with activations going on, with high vibrations coming in to assist us to shift and change, to let go, to release, to integrate, to expand, to allow our consciousness to become more aligned with the higher realms and more connected to the earthly realms, so we can bring more spirit into matter. And sometimes it's fun. And other times it's like, oh. I I asked uh, a fellow bagger. So on Tuesday mornings, there's a few of us that volunteer to bag produce for the food bank. And we just have the best time. It's so tribal, it's so ancient. But we don't sit around, we stand around mostly on these tables, and we put spinach in bags and then tie them a particular way and get a certain amount of the air out, but don't squish them. And there's all these kind of like ways to do it properly. The other day, we were this past Tuesday, we were doing beans. I can't tell you the name of the beans. Somebody might know, but they're purple and black, and they're supposedly kind of like pinto beans, I guess. I haven't tried them yet, but they were purple and black beans. And there were 6 of us at one point shucking these beans out of their pods. And we did it for at least an hour. So after doing a whole bunch of other things, we did it for at least an hour, the group of us, and really literally just came up with one bowl, you know, one bowl of beans. And that was from 3 containers. And there's 12 containers. So sometime in the future, we're going to have to go through 9 more containers, which is 3 more large bowls shucked of these beans. And there's still more on the vine. And we think, like, I'm not paying $3 for this can of beans. And of course, there are machines that do the shucking for the companies that grow the beans. And so a lot of it is mechanized, and I'm sure it happens a lot faster than 6 humans going like, how come I can't get this to open? Oh, some of them are younger, and but the steady ones, the ones that are kind of consistent with showing up, are older. And sometimes when I'm like, how do you even get these bags untied? When the younger people are bagging, they're like, and then the old people get the bag of spinach, and they're like, "Ah, I can't get it apart. It's melded." And then they have to take a pair of scissors and destroy the bag that they could have used for something else. So there's a way in which what we do affects 7 generations. And we're one of those 7 generations, and we're probably going to be another one of those 7 generations, maybe even in the next generation. We might go, okay, I'm coming back. But this time, I'm going to see what it's like to have just loving parents. And loving parents with enough money if I want to just be educated and just continue to be educated, which would be kind of my nature. I've been able to do that on my own without well-to-do parents. But I mean, they had colleges that basically were free. All you had to, Pasadena City College, all you had to do was buy your books, and you can find those in the used bookstore. So that was not bad. It wasn't like whatever it is now, depending on the college, 60,000 a year or more. Yeah. And you go maybe to that college for 4 years, so that's $250,000 plus the interest they charge you for borrowing that money to get educated. And then you come out and you find out, well, your art degree is going to earn you some minimum wage benefits. Unless you had someone to fund you to do that. And who knows which is better, whether struggling or partying, is the best thing for you. It's up to you. It's your life. It's your life. It's your adventure. So beginning Monday, just fasten your seatbelt and be ready to let go and be ready to shift and change at galactic speed, because Monday starts a 10-day cycle of rapid change. And then we get a break. So it goes to the 30th, from the 21st to the 30th of October. And then from the 30th, I think, of December to the 9th and 30th of November to the 9th of December is another 10 days of galactic activation portals, but with no auspicious day of Paco Votan during it. When you say it's time for change, it's time for change. And the more you resist it, the harder it is. And the more you go along with it, the easier it is. Just let it flow, go with it, do the best you can. When you are having a difficult time, hopefully you have a friend who you can just say, whoa. Oh, and that's what I was going to say. So this person that I bag vegetables with, from time to time, she comes from time to time, and other times she's there doing other things, but sometimes she bags with the old guys. And she's an energy worker, craniosacral therapist person. And I said to her, how has it been with your clients? How are your clients doing? And she went, I said, okay, I get it. You don't have to say any more. Mine too. People, might be one of them, but there are many people that are freaking out that the energies are too intense and the changes are too rapid, and they don't know how to keep up with it. And I'll tell you my suggestion: meditate. It's not hard. You don't have to follow any rules. A very simple meditation is just follow your breath. The breath will free everything up. So when you breathe, follow your breath in. Where does it feel tight? Breathe into that area that feels tight. What happens when it loosens up? What emotions do you notice? Don't get lost in the emotions. They're only old stored emotions that want to be freed up so they can fly in the wind and just do what energy wants to do, which is move. So just meditate, do breath work, stretch, gentle stretching, find areas that feel tight and help it to loosen up. But meditate, walk in the woods, go into nature, appreciate the trees, appreciate the animals in nature. Know that you are nature physically, human nature, a being in a human body that's part of nature. And the more it's a part of nature, the better for the body and for the being as well. And remember, 5 months and 1 week more, and we complete this 28-year process. So it's seeming better than like 28 years. In 28 years of cleansing, we'll be in a new world. I like in 5 more months of this cleansing, we'll be in a new world. Keep up the good work. Hope these words serve you well. And we'll even see, oh yeah, I did hit the button. I was looking and thinking like maybe none of this got recorded. Yeah. All right. Nowmustgo.